My name is Wesley Reith. I'm operations manager here at Granor Farm in Southwest Michigan. We're a diversified organic farm here in the southwesternmost county of Michigan, so we're in Berrien County. It is just north of the Indiana line and just east of Lake Michigan, so we kind of farm in this little microclimate that the lake gives us here. And we farm 5 or 6 acres of intensive vegetable production alongside just shy of about 500 acres of organic row crops. So corn, soybeans, wheat, rye, and barley. Today we're going to look specifically at some of our cereal grains, namely wheat and rye, and how we utilize those and how we specifically use them in our post-harvest handling system. Most of our wheat and rye that we grow here ends up getting used in Michigan in one of a couple ways. We typically aim for achieving food grade quality with these particular grains because our end users are using them in distilling or milling, malting applications, and so they require certain quality specs for us to hit. So our post-harvest handling is very important to consistently achieve those here in our climate. So I'm standing here next to a really important piece of equipment in our grain harvest and handling setup. This is a handheld moisture tester, so this tests the moisture of any particular type of grain. This particular one can do all the grains that we harvest, so when you're looking at a moisture tester, my advice is make sure it's compatible with all the different types of grain that you harvest. This one will do corn and soybeans and all the cereal grains. And my second piece of advice when looking at a handheld moisture tester is don't skimp and buy the cheapest one you can find. You really want an accurate tester to verify that all of your readings are correct. It really only takes one load of grain that is spoiled or that isn't accepted or rejected at your buyer to more than make up for any money that you would spend on a grain moisture tester. So buy a quality one and take good care of it. This particular model is a Dickie John, but there's lots of different manufacturers to choose from that you can utilize on your farm. The primary role of this tester in harvest is that it will go to the field with us. We can test the moisture of the grain in the field, and then it will also test the moisture of the grain as it exits the dryer. The reason we do that is because our dryer, like most dryers, has some moisture and temperature sensors located throughout the mechanisms here, and that's constantly giving us data on what the dryer is doing. However, like any sensor, those sensors in this dryer are only as accurate as their calibration or how they're being programmed. So we utilize this dryer because we utilize this tester, to verify that what our dryer is telling us is accurate. And so every time we go to a different field or we switch crops, we're using this moisture tester to verify that our dryer is giving us the same reading as the tester would give us. So that's a really crucial part because you don't want to have a discrepancy and have the dryer telling you the grain is dry when in reality it might be not dry or too dry. So that's a really important part of the process here. This is like I said, a handheld unit. So typically when we're using it, we fill the cavity in here with whatever grain that we're using, and a helpful way to think about using a moisture tester is basically it's a science experiment. Every time you run this experiment, it's only accurate if you're consistent. So I try to make sure that the grain moisture tester is filled, to the same level every time, and that way I know that I'm running a consistent experiment. So on any given truckload or a lot of grain, I'll probably run 2 or 3 or 4 different samples from the same lot just to make sure that they're all reading roughly the same, or I average them out together to get an accurate reading for what that moisture is. Another helpful point is you can verify your own moisture tester by taking it to your local elevator or your local co-op, and they can measure it against one of their testers, which are typically a little more pricey and might be more accurate, to make sure that you're getting an accurate reading from your tester. So there's really no way to be too redundant when it comes to making sure that your moisture tester is accurate.